This one's for the haters, as the kids say nowadays. If you like seeing me fail, boy howdy, do I have a video for you. If that interests you, I suggest you keep the dial tuned to the Failure Brothers YouTube channel. My entire drag racing story has been pretty successful in an unsuccessful type of way. By that, I mean I've been able to keep achieving my goals but still losing races. My goals always have been about beating myself or doing better than the last race. For the last several years, I was able to keep that pace, but the beginning of this season started out to be pretty successful in that unsuccessful type of way. But the last two races have really humbled my ignorant confidence. I cannot get this truck to consistently launch. High horsepower, low horsepower, doesn't matter. Coming into this race, I knew traction would be an issue. After watching the test and tune the night before, even the guys that knew what they were doing had a hard time making it past the 60 foot. So we decided to pay some tuition and run a couple tests and tunes before the first qualifiers. Our goal for the first test and tune was to try for 850 and see if the track could take it. Our suspension strategy was to loosen the rebound front and rear shocks and attempt to transfer weight and apply bite to the tire. We also lowered the rear tire pressure from 10 pounds to 9.5. Our motor combination was still the 3% overdriven, 55 pill and approximately 1,030 horsepower, and we're taking 10 degrees out from the hit.
Alright, being pushed back after test and tune 1. We spun the tire. I'm not sure if it was right at the head or just after. I think it's going to have to take a 4-link change. I'm not real sure. We're not adding a ton of horsepower down low, but evidently it's enough to knock the tire off, and I'm not sure the solution other than either bar change or try to pull a bit more timing out down the head. So we're going to look at the data and make a decision. I'll let you know.
Before the second round of test and tune, we decided to slow the index down to 9.0. We just didn't have enough data on the truck in order to make it go down, and we felt like we were wasting time by continuing trying to run 850. So we changed the blower overdrive to 3% under. We took out 10 degrees of timing across the entire map and 5 degrees extra on the hit. We also fattened up the main pill by 5 numbers to maybe slow us down a little bit there too. One thing I forgot to do was change the shift RPM, which is going to be a problem.
All right, number two test and tune. We were hoping for like a 98.90. We ended up running at 872, and I pulled 5 degrees. Boost was down. I shook the tires pretty hard right after like half second, 1 second in. The truck moved left hard. So I need to figure out what's going on. Plus I got a valve cover leak. So I've got a lot to do in the next 3 hours. Wish us luck.
Alright guys, I wanted to take a second and look over these graph together. The first line, which is in green, it was the first pass, and you can see I lost the tire about 1/4 of a second to 1/2 second in. The second line is yellow is the second pass. And you can see I held the tire, but I went into some pretty nasty tire shake all the way to 2 seconds. I don't want to do that. It's hard on parts. It can't be consistent. So I've got to find a solution to this. If anybody has some real world experience that wants to give us some advice down in the comments, please do. But this is what we're fighting. This is what we're trying to come up with. And later in the video, we do actually make a bar change, and I will overlay that graph as well, and you can see what difference that made. So obviously the test and tune didn't really give us what we were wanting. We made some more changes going into first round of qualifier. We took 5 more degrees of timing out across the map. We lowered the shift RPM to 6,400, and we also raised the launch RPM to 4,600 because I was having terrible lights. We're hoping the combination of all that gives us what we want. Alright, looking at the graph, you can see I lost the tire about the exact same spot, quarter second to half second in. We're getting aggravated. We got to figure something out. Also, an aside to this, be careful with your parachute, boys. They're dangerous. If you're liking this type of content, make sure you like and subscribe. Comment down below. Tell us if you like the format we're using now, or you don't. Just, you know, whatever. Just put it down there.
God help me, I got a race car.
This was probably the most representative run of the whole weekend about what we were trying to accomplish. We were kind of predicting a high 90, ran an 896. Reaction time was a little slow though, 0.039. But we thought we were in the right ballpark. We were going the right direction. But you could tell there's just a little bit of tire slip there, and I guess maybe hit a little glue and it got momentum and went. Unfortunately, that little tire slip, it gets away from you fast, and that's what keeps happening to us. So one thing we didn't mention in the prior run is we added 120 pounds behind the rear axle. And obviously the truck went down, made a lap. We were happy with the 896 run. So we didn't change anything other than I pulled 2 extra degrees of timing to make sure that I was going to be over the 9 second. I was predicting like an 02 or 03 with the weather involved. All right, let's talk four-link adjustment. So obviously we weren't getting down the track, and I've been struggling with it all season long. And really this is mainly about me being stubborn and not wanting to make a 4-link change. We decided we were going to make a 4-link change in the first round of eliminations because we're a bunch of idiots. No, really, what we were going to do is we knew we had a 50-50 shot at it working if we didn't make a change. And if we did make a change, we'd still have a 50-50 shot, and maybe we would learn something from making a pass like this. So in the past, I've always been really decent, I would say, about making these adjustments, getting a car to go down straight. Been struggling with the truck with the added horsepower, refusing to change, stubbornness. So if you're looking at the graph here with all the numbers, this is a free calculator online. The point where the 4 bars intersect right there is what they call your instant center. It's what dictates if the rear end is going to be pushed to the ground or the body is going to come to the tire, essentially raising the tire off the ground, giving you wheel spin. All right, nonetheless, the original setup prior to adjustment had an anti-squat value of 66.23% with a length of 52, and it's a little over 5.5 from the ground. The new setup, we changed 2 bar mounts, is 75.15%, 59 inches long, and a little over 7 inches off the ground. The extra added anti-squat is going to hopefully drive the tire into the ground without wrinkling up the tire too bad. So we're going to give this a shot. Tell us in the comments if you think we went the wrong way or we went the right way and we need to actually go further.
All right, up here for first round of eliminations, and we drew Mike Ryan. A little disappointed in that. I don't want to see him go home. I don't want me to go home, but it is what it is. Made a bar adjustment. We're going to see if it'll hold on the track. Do a big wheelie. I don't know what's going to happen, but something's going to happen, and I'm going to learn. Wish me luck. All right, I guess forgot to tell you, I lost Mike. Bar adjustment, I think it's a good setup if I had less tire pressure. I had too much wheel speed for too long. I need to check the data to see what that's about, but it spun probably the first 200 feet, and I really wanted it to grab by the 60 foot, so it's a little too soft, or I need a little bit less tire pressure. I'm gonna have to do some thinking and testing on that, but it did make it down the track. It's really slow. All right, well, my adventure's over. I haven't figured out if Chris won yet or not, so I'm gonna go find that out. Do a victory kiss or something. I don't know. Congrats, Mike.
Let's do a quick overview of the graph of what happened. So I initially had that wheel speed like always, and then this particular time it went just above the 6200, well it's actually 6400, but 6200 is the trigger shift point. So during the wheel spin, it shifted into second, and then at about a half a second, which is a second too fast, and causing me to run a 922. That's the reason I was so slow that time. So if I'm going to continue to use this setup, I've got to make sure I raise the shift point or change the shift point from RPM to time. That may be what I do, but we'll have to figure that out. As promised, I'm going to overlay Q2 and E1. E1's in red, Q2's in green, and as you can see, the E1 in red goes a little bit higher, which is also more RPM. Mind you, this graph is just wheel speed only, okay? Well, when it went a little bit higher, it shifted earlier, which caused me to be behind an ET, and I couldn't make it up. I had the right mile per hour, as you can see towards the end. I was just slower getting there, and that cost me the race.
Hot damn, that was a good video, right? I mean, we had in-camera car footage, we had graphs, charts, science. My God, we put a lot of effort in this for you guys. And why don't you put a little effort in for us? Hit the like button, subscribe. The biggest thing you can do is share it, because I hate putting this much effort in the videos and only getting 100 views. So we gotta share it with your friends in order for us to get more views. Now, I wanna tell you one thing. You gotta find the success and failure, okay? If you're gonna manage this type of lifestyle where it's a one and done situation, racing with no buybacks, you gotta find some success in all your failures. For instance, the Titanic wasn't a complete failure. there's still water in the pool to this day, right? So we just got to figure out, in this particular scenario, the success was I finally got out of my stubborn chair and changed the 4-link. Now, I didn't do great because I found out, obviously, the shift point was set wrong for that particular setup. Maybe that wouldn't have mattered, I don't know. But at least we did something, because we kept doing the same thing over and over again. That's the definition of insanity, right? Well, that's what we were doing. We got it fixed. Not fixed, we got it forward. We're moving forward. We don't know what it's gonna take. Is it gonna take 90%, 100, 110% anti squat? Leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you think it's gonna take to get this truck down the strip. We don't know. Our next race is Martin, Michigan. It's like 2 weeks from now. That's probably be my next video on the truck, but you're in for a treat next week because there'll be a video of the Nova. And if you like that, if you like that we're breaking it up so that you can focus on the truck or focus on the car, let us know down in the comments. Let us know anything. Hey, tell you what, why don't you just tell me your favorite color? Just put something down there, because the algorithm, all hail the algorithm. I don't know. YouTube, they need that down there. You got to put something there. I feel like I'm begging. You know, I might as well just beg. Just please, just comment, like, and subscribe. We'll see you next week.